Hey guys, today I'm going to be making a birthday card for a little boy, and I want some bright and colourful colour tones coming through on this card. So I have a selection of colours here. First of all, I have a little piece of a remnant of a piece of paper from the Dots and Stripes collection from Echo Park, and that's in the red. And then I have these three fabulous pattern pieces of paper, and that's from the Cosmo Cricket Togetherness mini deck. But I also want to have, as part of my design, a little elephant, and I'm going to stamp that onto this greyish toned cardstock, and it's from a company called Scrapworks, and the collection is Sweet Analog, and the paper is called Skinny. On the other side there is a tulip design, but I like the tone of this grey and I thought it'd be perfect for stamping my little elephant on there. And there he is. He is from the Hero Arts Elephants Clear Stamp collection. So let's get started on making the card. For the base of the card, I'm using a square folded piece of white cardstock, and I want to use this really cute blue pattern paper with these, it's almost like kite strings with the little bows flying on them, and I want that to be the complete background of the card, and then I'll work from there. So let's stick that down so we can get started. I'm grabbing my roller adhesive here, and I'll go over all four sides of the outside of the card front, and a few little bits in the middle, and then we'll stick this down. There we go. So let's cut off the excess. I'll use my craft knife for this. If you're more comfortable, you can use your scissors. I missed a little tiny bit, so I'm just going to trim that off like that. Okay, so there's the base of my card. Is all ready to go. Let's pop these to the side for just now. And I've decided that I want to have a bit of a carnival theme to this card. So I want to have like a triangular shape up here, a bit like a top hat, and for that I'm going to use these two pieces of card. So I'm going to use the yellow as a base, and then I'm going to use the red to fill in little triangles. So I know that it would look nice as a right angle, so let's do that and use my my cutting mat as a bit of a template. So if I line it up even down to the points down here, then I can make sure that I get a perfect right angle triangle. And if I use my card as a guide, we could have, I say, about the 8 centimeters. So let's line up my ruler at 8 centimeters on both sides and cut into that. There we go. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the red one. To start off with, make it exactly the same size. And then we can use the red one and cut lines from the base of the triangle up to the point, and then we'll stick that on top of the card. So if I leave that there for just now and bring my cutting mat back, and I'm not going to measure it, I'm just going to cut little strips haphazardly. Like this. So I could stick that one on like this. next one would be yellow, so let's put the red piece to the side, and then got another strip to use as the red section, and I'll line that up at the bottom like that. So that'll be my top hat of my carnival. So let's stick these down. And to make it really pretty, I want a little scalloped border along the bottom of this marquee canopy. And I have already cut out the scallop border, which was using the Spellbinder's Boardabilities die. I ran that through my Cutterbug, and I'm going to stick my big top on top of that like this. So let's make a line of adhesive. And I want my center point here to be the roughly the middle of my big top. So that looks about right. And we can trim that off. I want to trim this off straight. And just remove that corner there, and let's do the side on the same on this side. So here I have the beginnings of my big top. Now what I want to do is add a line of the red polka dot, or the red stripes along here, and I only have a little piece of this left. But that's okay, because I just want it to add a little bit of an effect on the bottom. So let's trim that off in a straight line. And we can stick this onto the bottom to create a little bit of variety to the page. There we go. So now we have our big top marquee. I want to add my little elephant at the bottom. So let's pop this to the side, and we can work on creating our elephant for our card. This is the grey cardstock which I said I wanted to use, and here's Mr. Elephant. And what I want to do is to emboss it onto this paper, and I'm going to use some black ink and then some clear embossing powder. So let me grab that. I'm using the Black Suit Distress ink, and then I have some Hero Arts clear embossing powder. Let's ink up Mr. Elephant. Stamp them onto the scrapbook paper, ensuring that I'm applying even pressure. And now let's sprinkle him with some clear embossing powder. And hit him with a heat tool. So now I have my elephant embossed here. I'm going to do that one more time so that I have another elephant to layer up the card and give the finished card a little bit of dimension. So let's do that again. So here I have two embossed elephants, and I also stamped another part of Mr. Elephant's head because I really like the way that his ear is nice and big, and I think that would look really pretty if we can make that stand out from the card as well. So I stamped that as well. So let's cut him out, and I'm going to cut one out completely, the whole stamped image, and then the second elephant I'm going to cut along this line here, and I'm going to cut off his back leg, and I'm going to go down here and up and cut along that line there as well. So I'm only going to include these 2 feet. So whenever I stick that on top of this, which has all the feet, it looks like there's a little bit of dimension. And then what I'll do is take my ear and put it on top. And then I can stick it on the card. So let's get cutting with our scissors. So here are my 2 elephants, one with 4 legs and one with 2, and this one will go on the top like this. But I want to show you how I want to cut this ear out. I want it to be like a flap, so I'm going to create a fold along this edge here, which I think would be the edge where Mr. Elephant's ear is connected to his head. So let's make a fold along that line. And then I'm going to use my scissors to cut along the outside of his ear like this. And you want to cut through both layers all the way around to there. So now you have a double ear which folds out like this. So if we stick the bottom layer to the elephant's head, this layer will stick out and like a flap, just the way an elephant's ear should do. So let's finish that off and then we can crack on with the rest of the card. So let's stick this down to the top layer of my elephant. And I'm going to stick it down like this. And to create a little bit of dimension, I'm going to put a little piece of foam underneath, but in near the crease like this. So it's not going to fold the whole way forward. Still have a bit of a flap, but won't come the whole way forward on his face. To stick this second layer on top of the first layer, I'm going to use some of the little foam pads as well, but these ones are only 1 millimeter, so it's not going to create a huge pop-up element on your card. It's going to cost lots of money to go through the post. It's just going to be very subtle, so let's stick that on. Peel off the top of these ones. You can peel these off with your fingernails, or you can use the tip of your craft knife to take off these top layers if you find that easier. There we go. So let's layer this guy on top. Match up his trunks. There he is. Doesn't he look lovely? Cool. So he's going to go here, but I've decided that I think my card would look better if the marquee went the whole way across the card. So rather than starting again and wasting this, what I'm going to do is cut a strip off my card along here. So I'm just going to measure that up. I can tuck that in behind like this. And make a little mark with my craft knife, and then do the same on the bottom like this. And now I know exactly where I'm going to slice off the edge of my card. And let's put this across. Oh, okay, that looks much better. So I can have it down here if I like, or else I can pop it up a little bit like this, and Mr. Elephant's going to go here, and I want to have something coming along here and also something along the bottom of my my marquee top. So let's get some ribbon to go along this bottom edge. I've just grabbed some thin white satin ribbon. So that's what I'm going to use for this bottom seam here, and I'm going to pass it through the middle of the card here. So let's put a little snip with our scissors. Snip it through to the middle. And then we can thread this through to the inside of the card. Like this. So we can stick that in place. I'm going to use a few little glue dots along this edge. And these ones are really small glue dots, so they're perfect for this thin ribbon, but I'm just folding it over on top of itself a little tiny bit so I can ensure it doesn't peep out the top. And you don't need a lot the whole way along, but just enough to make it secure, maybe 2 or 3. To finish this ribbon, I'm going to tie a knot in the side that overhangs the edge, because I think that'll give a nice quirky feel to the card. So let's fold these tails through the loop and secure it in place, hanging off the edge of the card like this. There you go. And I'll trim off our ribbons. There we go. I might trim them shorter, but I'll leave them like that for just now. And this is going to go here, and Mr. Elephant about there. So there's one more thing that I want to add to this, maybe 2. I was thinking of maybe putting an element on the card, so I could put the number 1. Maybe I will use some of my nestabilities to make a little circle and either put it at the top up here, or put it down here in the corner of the card. So let's see what I can find in my paper stash to see what we could do with that. So I've cut some shapes out of some cards using the Cuddle Bug and some Nestability dies, and I had thought about layering up these circles and placing the number 1 on top of it. And my original idea was to put it somewhere about here on the card, but then I thought that I could actually put it at the top of the card like this, and then I had a completely different idea and decided that I just wanted to use the 1 on its own and put it down here at the bottom left, but that I would add a flag to the top of the little marquee here, and to do that I want to first of all create a triangle again so that I can put it on the back, so that when someone opens the card it's not just white on that side. I want something that's a bit more colourful, and if I have 2 sides in, I'm going to sandwich something in between, which will be my flagpole. So let's do that. So I'm going to use the red again, and it doesn't have to be the whole size this time. Let's just trim off the white strip onto this like that, and as long as there's enough to cover the bit that hangs over the edge, so it doesn't even have to be straight, but this has got dots on it which will help me cut through. So this piece will go on the reverse like that, and then we can sandwich a flagpole underneath, and my elephant and my number 1 can go here. So I'm going to actually stick down these elements now because I know that's where they're going to go. So I might as well stick them down to the card. Like this. And I also wanted something along this line here, and I've decided I'm going to use a little piece of this baker's twine, the red one, to go along here, and then I will tuck the excess in at the back. So let's put a little piece of my sticky on the other side, and I'll fold it round the back. And stick it down to that adhesive. Like that. Make sure it sticks down properly. And I'm just going to use a cocktail stick for my flagpole, like this. And I'm going to once again use some glue dots. But this time, rather than using the little circles, the little dots, this is a product from Glue Dots which is called Continuous Lines. So it's great for sticking long elements, a bit like my little wooden sticks here. Also great for ribbon. There we go. And I'll put a bit on the top of it as well. And we can stick this one on top. Now I'm actually going to stick it down the edges with this same product so that it is a little bit raised to accommodate for that wooden stick. There we go. Right, let's stick to the card. I'm going to make sure that I don't go too near this point in case you can see it from the reverse of the card. But I also want to make sure that it's stuck down really well so it's not going to fall off. Maybe just add another little piece in the middle here, like that. We're ready to stick it on. There we go. Right, so now we're ready to create our flag at the top, and I think we should use our yellow for this. And what I've done is taken some little letter stickers, letter stamps, and I have spelled out the name Mackenzie. I'm missing an E at the end because I need to reuse the one that's stuck in the middle. And I thought that it'd be really cute to use Mackenzie's name on the flag, seeing as it's his birthday. So I want to stamp this down first of all, and then I'll use my embossing powder once again to emboss over the top. And I think I'm going to use some red this time. So I'm grabbing some Festive Berries Distress inks. And I'm going to use the hole as a center point. And I'll work just to the right of the center point, and I'll use the little dashes as a guide to see if I can get the name straight. That's not too bad. So let's emboss this. Now, to get the extra E on the end, I'm going to have to clean my stamp. So I'm using a baby wipe to do that. And I will just take the wetness off the top of the stamps with an old rag. And now let's move that E to the end here. And if you check the other side, you can see through the stamp, so you know that it's all lined up. So now the tricky part is to make sure that you're only getting the ink onto the E, and if you hold your stamp out like this, you should be able to see. Another trick is that you can take a sticky note and cover the parts that you don't want ink to get onto, and then you can be a little bit more adventurous with your ink and peel off your post-it note, and then you just line up the rest of your letters and stamp that E in the right place. So let's emboss the E and make the flag for our card. So here I have Mackenzie stamped. Let's cut the card into a long strip. Once again, I'll grab my paper trimmer for this task, and I'm going to fold this roughly in half, making sure there's a little bit of a gap to the left of the text, like that. And then let's put sticky adhesive the whole way along here, right to the end. And then sandwiching the rod in the middle, we stick the top flap in front of the other. And I'm going to chop the corner or the end off using the corner of my square punch to get a nice flag end. Now I think I'm going to cut this piece off the top because I don't want anything sharp for little Mackenzie in case he hurts himself. So let's take a pair of scissors and chop that off. There we go. So there we have a finished card for Mackenzie to celebrate his first birthday, and it'll no longer fit into my envelope for a square card, but it might fit in one of the other envelopes, maybe for an A5 card or something like that. But it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be sending it through the post. I'm going to be giving it to him tomorrow morning when we go to his party. So happy birthday, Mackenzie, and I shall see you tomorrow.